What's up, Smallville fans? Do you like rating and reviewing your favorite podcasts? Of course you don't. Why would you? It's a podcast. It's free. Why be inconvenienced by hopping on iTunes and throwing some stars towards your favorite podcast? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it helps your digital buddies out. That's right, folks. Smallville Freaks needs your help spreading the word. It'll only take a few moments to hop online, throw us some stars, tell us how we're doing, what's good, what's not good, and why you love Smallville. Thanks everyone for your time and support, and we look forward to having you join us at our favorite tiny little town, Smallville.
This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
Dad drama and disintegrating old people on this episode of Smallville Freaks.
Whatever it is, I can handle it.
You're the one always telling me I need to find my destiny. But one thing's for certain, it's not here in Kansas. You saved my life.
He's a rather extraordinary young man. Don't you think?
Hello and welcome to Smallville Freaks, a podcast 15 years too late. I'm Mike Pelly.
And I'm Jason Lamb.
And we're discussing episode 17. Reaper. Can't wait to get into this boring-ass episode.
Isn't that what they called those freaks in Blade 2? It was Reapers?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that. But I just watched this, and it was the weirdest meteor freak episode I think I've ever seen. Ashman?
Ashman.
Like, well, okay. I'm really, I got these powers. I can make people disappear with my hands. I'm gonna just keep killing old people.
Yeah. It's also like it's a weird episode in that like it's a weird meteor freak episode where like the dude dies and comes back to life and he has like a really creepy
He's kind
like
of a zombie
meteor rock like stuck in his arm sort of thing. Yeah.
It was the last thing that kind of saved him from just death.
Yeah.
From falling from a building.
But he was definitely dead. Like he was on
at the morgue.
Coroner's table. Yeah, he was at the morgue.
Yeah. Well, he survived thanks to meteor rocks. And he has the ability to touch people like Rogue from X-Men. And he has the ability to touch them.
Yeah, to touch them.
Ew. Did it have to go there
in their
that
heart?
fast?
No, in their heart. Yeah,
in their heart. Touch them emotionally.
Yeah.
Okay. He has the ability to touch people and like makes them disintegrate with his hands. And this episode is not I do not remember seeing this ever in my entire memory of Smallville watching.
I do remember this because I feel like the actor who plays the soul-sucking freak is from a bunch of other Vancouver shows, which, I'm a fan of. I love to cover.
He's from like Stargate.
Oh yeah, he's in Stargate.
Okay.
And I feel like he's in X-Files.
You're talking about Tyler? The character
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler. He has early 2000s hair like
I had a
motherfucker.
I had a butt cut. Did you have a butt cut?
I did.
The parted down the middle? Yeah.
I did, but I was more late 90s kind of having that, and this was it's weird that the butt cut kind of like seeped its way into the early 2000s the way it did.
Oh, it definitely did.
Thanks to CW.
I wonder if I had a butt cut in the early 2000s. I don't think I did.
You might have. Yeah. All right, let's get right into this episode. So basically, Tyler kills his mom. Right off the bat, she asks him to do it, and that's kind of where he gets his thirst for killing elderly people. I don't know.
He's
I don't know how
hella thirsty.
I don't know how to describe it. The entire rest of the episode, he's just all about putting the old people out of their misery.
Yes.
And yes, granted, sometimes they ask him to do it, but like it's just weird that he gets fixated on it.
I get it. I mean, if I had that power, I would definitely do it for good, where
For good. Okay, there are natural ways to put down people.
No. Assisted suicide is a thing.
It is, but
I feel I feel like it should be legal.
Turning them into ash.
If I'm going to give away my own personal politics, I would say that assisted suicide should be a real thing.
All right, fine.
And I'm not talking like it's so much faster than putting like the hood over someone's face with gas, like, which is like the current
and when
assisted suicide standard.
He killed his mom in a worst way with the pillow. He had her suffocate.
God, why would you do that? You could just fucking grab her.
And that's why he flew out of the window and all that. But like, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so he's all about killing old people. Rest of the episode is okay. So Lex is being like watched by his father's lawyer.
Yeah. I think it's the first time we've seen him, right?
Dominic. I feel like it is. It's been a while since we've done this podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. But yeah, he's kind of like telling Lex, like, we know that you're looking at this kid Clark about the crash, which is obviously the pilot episode, where Lex hit Clark with the car and like all that.
Right, but it's a financial audit, right? Because he's only there because his father is like, hey, you're spending a lot of money on this thing that is not work related.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting, but as the episode goes, it bounced back between that and this Tyler guy who Clark and Martha go to help the elderly.
Okay.
Right? Coincidentally, this is all like a coincidence, and that everything is just tied in perfectly in a nice knot in this episode. But they go to help the elderly, and Tyler is there. All right, fucking zombie, fucking Ash Man zombie, right? Looking all. What's the thing that you were just saying about
butt
that?
cut?
Butt cut. Looking all butt cut.
Yeah, he's got a part down the middle.
And he's there to, help the elderly. And what does he do? He first kills the dog kills Pepper. Kills Pepper. And then kills the old lady, who is part of our crew spotlight, I think.
Yes,
she
is. We'll get to that.
Yeah, very, very renowned actress in the Vancouver scene.
Yeah, the Couve.
Yeah, she's
Couve, BC.
She's a Couver. And but it bounces back between that and Lex's thing with the lawyer. But then it starts the whole thing with Chloe and Clark and Pete is kind of there. He's like in the background.
He's there.
It's like, okay, let's Scooby-Doo this situation. Oh,
Scooby-Doo.
Spontaneous combustion.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, spontaneous combustion. You think about that.
We both read about it and seen like documentaries about it.
It's such a weird like thing that it's apparently only happened. Well, it's apparently happened to 200 people in recorded history. And I know this information because I watch and listen to another podcast from BuzzFeed, and they talked about this. And it's particularly this one woman who, you know how like grandmas like to sit in their grandma chair and they like just fall asleep in it?
Yeah.
This one lady did that, and just her grandson came home and she was completely 100% just ash.
My great aunt's 95 years old, and she still falls asleep every night in her chair. Her special chair.
Yeah, but what if you came home and she was just ash because the inside of her body was on fire? And and then burnt from the inside and then just combusted. What about that? I'm sorry to bring that up about your relative, but that is what they're suggesting here. Is they say, "Hey, Clark, this woman is spontaneously combusting."
The thing that freaks me out the most is the limbs that are left over. So, like, this is why I think spontaneous combustion's a real thing. So we have the ash thing, right? Where they cremate themselves and they have leftover limbs, and there's no residue for like external chemicals like gasoline or anything like that. Like they literally just burn up and like leave parts of themselves behind.
Right. So there's a Monopoly man in this.
Okay.
He's the caretaker of what even is that facility that they're in? where they're taking care of these old people. Because that
I think it's just the hospital.
It seems like the exterior seemed like a shed.
Yeah.
Where the Monopoly guy was walking out of, and like I was like, oh, this isn't. What even is this? Because remember when they pulled up and they're like, oh, we're gonna help the old people.
Yeah.
And then it showed Tyler with that one woman who's like, I want you to help me die. And then, but like her room was like decked out, like it looked like a Luthor like style room. Like it was
that's
like,
true.
And I think that has a lot to do with the colors and
upper middle class.
Yeah.
Family that can afford that kind of home care.
Just the outside of it looked like a barn.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tyler commits suicide by touching himself because he feels like he
touching himself. Like he places one hand on his dick and then he dies.
Why'd you have to put some visuals?
Well, he puts his hands together.
He doesn't touch his dick.
He touches hand to hand. But I'm like, what if he just decided to just like grab crotch?
I'm gonna have one last rub.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
And like just
and then he just goes out that way. No gloves. He has to take the gloves off because that's like what's keeping him from dying.
Oh my god. All right. We're gonna move on to my favorite segment. It is my segment. It is the drama segment.
Drama.
Trust me, you don't want to know me the way you think you do.
Clark, that's my decision to make.
Okay. So this episode is a different, like compared to the rest where we're talking about Lana and Clark and talking about Whitney and Lana and like all that. This is a father and son drama episode.
Oh yeah, as evident by the drinking game.
Yeah, you will see what's to come there. But it is a lot about Jonathan Kent and like, oh, I just want to be with, go fishing with Clark, and then Lex is talking about like his father and how they have no connection, and that's happening at the end of the episode.
Right.
But let's see what we got here. So Whitney's dad has a heart attack, and as we know from previous episodes of the season, like Whitney's dad has been going through some health problems and stuff.
This might be the first time we've seen Whitney's dad, actually.
This probably,
like in
I
person.
think so. Because
Yeah.
like he talks about him all the time previously, and now we get to finally see
The face. The face of evil.
the face of the Whitney. What's Whitney's last name? I don't even know. I just know Whitney. That's all I know.
What is Whitney's last
I have
name?
no clue.
Shit.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
I feel like
does
we
it?
should know this.
Actually, at one point, Clark says to Whitney about his dad. He goes, well, because Whitney is kind of like, I don't know about this situation. I don't know how to feel about it. And Clark says, I take the man over the memory.
What does that even mean?
What is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know. And it was like a sentimental moment. Like the music was swelling. And it was like, what the fuck are you saying to him, Clark? Like, I don't even know what the point is of that.
Yeah.
Take the man over the memory. Okay, so
But, like, why?
don't
Is it-
remember your dad. Just remember him as a man.
Right. Is he supposed to be like, you know what, you need to make peace with the fact that your father is going to be dead soon?
I think that's what he's trying to say. But that was a weird thing
But
to
that's
say.
crazy. Yeah.
I think what you just said is literally what he could have said.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Less guessing.
But going back to so the whole thing is like Clark is relating Whitney's situation to him with Jonathan, and basically Jonathan just wants to go fishing with his son. Okay,
So Lex offers up some ball game tickets, right? Is it a basketball game or a football game? I can't remember.
I think it's a football game.
Yeah, and he's just like, you can have box seats.
Right. He's
Because-
really giving it up, and he's just like, here. But like Lex isn't doing it for any gain. He's just like, I just want to take them.
Yeah.
And then like Jonathan gets all weird, and he's just like, no, I don't want to take Luthor shit. I want to go fishing with you, and like do like stuff without their money. Like is basically what he wants to do.
Do you ever wonder if Lex would have turned out all right if Jonathan Kent wasn't such a fucking asshole to him?
Wow, that's so true. I didn't think about that because we're watching the early stages here.
Yeah.
Like, this is season 1. We're seeing the beginning of the fire. And it's already on fire, but like between the Luthors and the Kents. But
yeah.
So also John Kent finds out that Lex has been keeping tabs.
Oh, now he's John Kent.
Okay. He's not okay.
John.
On my notes, I wrote John because
Literally
it was
John.
less to write. So Jonathan Kent found out that Lex has been keeping tabs on Clark about the accident from the pilot.
Right.
He finds that out in this episode. And I think that's important to note because it's the seed for what's to come. And I put that in the drama segment because that's drama.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we're not dealing with any like kissy stuff here.
But the thing is, like, Lex was super upfront with Clark about the fact that he had an investigation on him.
Right.
And part of the drama in this episode is the fact that Clark was not upfront with Jonathan.
Correct.
He was not upfront with his father about the fact that there was an investigation going on in his family. But he knew about it all the time. Again, back to the thing where it's like, Lex did everything right. Like, he did it, he's obsessed, but he also was like upfront about it.
Yeah, but he's always dealing with resistance, so I think that kind of contributes to his like darker path. All right, let's move on to the drinking game.
Party can officially begin. The Luthors are here.
Okay, so per our drinking game rules, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries in our drinking game rules.
Yes.
The strongest one would be son and father, which comes up so much in this episode. As we mentioned earlier, that it's a very strong father-son episode.
I think it's a record.
Yeah, it might be a record for how many times people say son or father.
Because again, this episode is purely about family and not about like relationship shit.
Yeah. Don't do shots. I think the majority of our podcasts, because we've come up with the perfecto rule, is don't do shots. Just do sips. Take a drink, as they say.
Be calm.
Be calm. Yeah. Don't go all out. Because you will die of alcohol poisoning.
With these rules specifically.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, hospital scenes, we've got at least 2. I would say there's more than that, but
I think we're actually I'm just going to say a sideline right now. I think we're ushering in the era of the hospital scenes now.
Yeah, season 2 is very heavy on the hospital scenes.
And spoiler, yes, it's heavy, but now we're starting to, because I think I saw some purple walls in this hospital.
Yeah.
And I know the Smallville hospital has purple walls, so we're starting to get into that set. That set is starting to opening up.
Yeah, absolutely. Saying son or father.
Whew, shit.
That is a rule. That's a number 2 rule.
It's a big one.
We have 18. 18. Again, please exercise caution. Don't do shots. You will die.
Also, don't
sip your beer.
Also, don't say father all the time.
No. Why?
At what point do you need to refer to your dad as father? Fucking this many times.
If we counted the times that they said dad, not let alone father.
They said dad a lot in this too.
Yeah. Or even mother. You would die.
Yeah.
You would just have alcohol poisoning. Yeah. Which I've been there. Don't do that.
They say that a lot.
It's
Holy
true.
Shit.
Glass shattering, we have once.
Yes.
Foreshadowing, the behold the Superman quote
exactly.
that Lick says.
They actually said the word Superman in this, yes.
Luthor cocktails, at least once, where he's poisoning the lawyer, and Clark comes out of nowhere because... Okay.
This one, we weren't sure if we were going to mark it, but...
So a total of 25 shots or sips, depending on like what you're willing to do. But the thing is like, how?
Yes. How are we here?
Yeah.
With these many...
With this like...
Wow. We also maybe made an entry into the drinking game.
Okay.
Another rule, which... doesn't need to exist because of how many times people say father and son in this episode. But a lot of times Lex or Lionel tells a history lesson.
I think that needs to be a new rule.
Yes, and I marked one down because he talked about the ancient Polish
at least,
or whatever.
At least until Lionel dies, which is what, season 6 or 7 or something like that?
Well, I think every season will change the rules.
Yeah.
Based on the seasons.
But coming up soon, I think we're going to add this because there's so many Luthor history lessons, like, it needs to happen.
And that's like literally them summing up the episode.
Yeah.
So it's a big one. All right, Geek Lore?
Geek Lore.
This is Smallville. Meteor freaks, alien ships, cryptic symbols. Someone has to protect the world.
So this Geek Lore is going to cover the sucking powers.
Excuse me?
Of Tyler, where he can grab somebody and absorb their energy.
It sucks it out of them.
So I think I might have covered this in a previous episode, but like Parasite, the Superman villain Parasite, which depending on what lore you're following or like what version of the character.
You think this is based with Parasite?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like the writer's room sat there and like looked at all of the powers that all these characters had. No, this is throwing shit against the wall.
So Amy, this is the weirdest fucking Meteor Freak episode ever. He is the Ashman.
Amy Adams had that character where she would like suck up people's like fat, right?
No, she didn't suck up people's fat. Well, she ended up eating people. She ended up becoming a cannibal, but she was just hungry and just needed to eat.
I feel like her character was more Parasite, the character Parasite, than the one that we have, but
that's
still he absorbs people's life force and he makes them turn to ash. I feel like it's worth mentioning that Parasite is the thing.
Okay. Fine.
And
I'll give it to you.
Thus ends my geek lore because I think that's all I had for this episode.
I'm so sorry. You know what? This is good. This is good because it's a debating segment.
Debating.
We can debate
John Glover
on whether or not this has to do with Parasite.
Parasite. The character Parasite.
I don't know, man. We got fucking 10 more seasons.
All right,
of this
well, we're
shit.
gonna do it.
All right, let's move on to the crew spotlight.
I'm to help create the look of the show, to tell the story visually.
This crew spotlight is going to do Sheila Moore, who was in a lot of genre television shows growing up, like things that like are near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So she was in It, the Stephen King miniseries.
Excellent.
Raid Bradbury Chronicles.
Do you know who? Wait, back up. Who was she in It? Was she one of the kids or no? Because that would be amazing.
I can't remember.
Probably
actually.
like one of the parents, maybe, or something.
I think it was one of the parents.
Okay. Sorry.
21 Jump Street,
Holy
which
shit,
we've
hell
got a great movie.
Excellent.
That's a parody of
Yes.
that. Highlander, the TV series.
My God.
X-Files and Millennium, which are both Chris Carter shows. Two of my favorites.
She's an all-star.
Yeah, she's an all-star Vancouver.
And she ended up on a deathbed in Smallville.
Yeah, it's true. Super creepy, but yeah. So this week's crew spotlight goes out to Sheila Moore.
Hell yeah. Good job, Sheila.
I feel like
nailed it.
I'm not doing enough like directors, like key grips, like cinematographers, like whatever for this.
I think it's good that sometimes that we also just like because you watching this recognize that she was in a Stargate show, you know, like, and it's like, oh, let's take a look. Let's take a deep dive into what she's done. You know, I'm sure the director of this episode has done other stuff, but I don't care because this episode was goddamn forgettable.
It really was. Yeah, and I agree with that.
I don't want to give the director of this episode anything.
All right.
Anyway, well, we did it. We went through it, and I want to thank everybody for listening to us. I know it's been a while since we've done this podcast, but we are back, and we're going to finish out the season. God damn it.
Thus ends Reaper.
Thus ends Reaper. Jason, where can people find you on the internet?
JTL_hell at Instagram.
You can find me on all the handles at Mike Pelly with a Y. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week. Bye.
Later.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast